Okay, today we're going to show you the LapWorks Wizard Standing Desk. I'll show you how to set it up. So first thing we want to do is just release the tabs. You'll notice that we give a description of all the various parts that are in this and what these accessories do and how they look, which is helpful when you're first setting it up. We'll just set aside anything we're not using currently. Instructions, very useful. And the instructions also link to give the link to this video that you're watching now. So I'm sure you found that. So let's just take these subcomponents out. The mouse pad, the Max mouse pad, a few more bits of foam to keep it protected. This is the keyboard tray and more foam. I'm going to set that aside. Come back to that later. The Wizard itself, and I don't want to forget the stabilizer bar. That's a very important component. Alright, so I'm just going to set this out of the way. And let's get started on setting this up. Okay, so next we'll set up the Wizard stand. That's the first step after you get it out of the box. This is the Wizard stand. So the first step is to work on one leg, one button at a time, and we want to set this to instructions say -90. So you can adjust this as you go, but you may want to set it to different settings once you get familiar with this, how it works. But for right now, we just want to let's stick with the suggested settings. There's -90, and you'll note that there's a 0, 30, 60, 90 on the other side. This side -30, -60, -90. So that's what makes the difference there. So make sure whether it says positive or -90. So then we'll set this one, same thing, to -90. Make sure that button pops back out when you're done. All right. Then we move on to the next one. The instructions say set that one to 150 degrees. 150. Oh, and that's the other direction. There we go. And same on the other side. Press and hold. Rotate. Press and hold. Oops. And rotate to 150. That's not quite 150. There it is. And when you have that alignment, make sure the finger is pointing right to the right mark. So you can see there. Now we got 150. Alright, and instructions say set the next one to 180. There's 180. Other side, 180 degree rotation is right there. And there's our Wizard desk standing upright. So this right now is usable, and but you might be able to see that it's a little bit wobbly. So we have a solution for that. What you want to do is put in the stabilizer bar. And again, this is where you need to keep the screwdriver. So we're just going to loosen these. It's very lightly tightened at the factory just to hold things in place. But you just want that loose. And then just slide that on. And right away, it's so much more stable. So this is optional to lock these on if you anticipate that you're going to be setting up and taking the Wizard Standing Desk down on a regular basis. You don't need to tighten these, but if it's more for a little more long term, you just tighten those up and that keeps it in place. Okay, so now you've got a much more stable desk. And again, you could use it that way if you want, but you're probably going to want to use a keyboard. So let's get the keyboard tray. And onto the keyboard tray. Let's take that out of the protective packaging. And the keyboard tray has a few different adjustments here where you can position the keyboard further forward or further backward. If you use this hole, it's going to be further back. If you use the back holes, it moves it very further forward. So, first, the instructions will advise you on this. It tells you how to set up the stabilizer bar. Then moving to the keyboard tray, first kind of get an idea of where your elbow height is, because ergonomically you want to have the keyboard tray the same as elbow height, so you're not having to lift up or down, to type. So that's what the purpose of a standing desk is, for ergonomics. So make sure you do it right. So these clamp on with these little clamps that, whoops, you have to get the two proper sides. So you hook one piece and then slide that in, and that clamps on the leg. So I'll show you how that works. So and an important detail, these nubs, I don't know if you can see that there well, these nubs have to be on the inside for the keyboard tray. They go on the outside of the leg for the mouse pad. But we're doing the keyboard tray now, so I'm going to put that on the inside. So this goes on that side. Bring this around so you can see it more easily. So you hook the front, then slide this in. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So nubs go on the inside of the leg. So I hook the front, slide that in, and then we remembered about where we wanted to put the keyboard tray. So we can give it a right angle and slide that in. And this is probably the fussiest part of setting this up. Once you get this in place, the entire thing goes very easy. So I'm going to put this in the rear hole. You can kind of look in between to see the alignment, and just want to line that up, get it started. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Push your bracket up. Get it aligned. So when you've got it in the hole, you can actually see from the underside. Pull back and you can show what you're viewing there. So that's the underside of the hole. That's a way to know that you're lined up. So you get that screwed in a little ways, double check your height, make sure that you're level. You want to be level side to side and also front to back, roughly. Okay, so next we'll add a mouse pad. So this is the Max mouse pad. It's 9 by 8 inches, so a good size for mousing on, even if you use a full-size mouse. And you use the same kind of clamps. Notice the nubs, once again. What you want to do for the mouse pad is put those nubs on the outside edge instead of on the inside edge. And we'll get a good focus. There you go. So you can see that this nub pokes up, and that's what catches and prevents that from rotating. So I just put this on, put that side in, then this piece hooks first, and then pushes on. And then the bolt, in this case, goes from the inside out. And it makes it very easy for this one. As I said, the keyboard tray is the hardest part of it. The mouse pad is very easy to attach. And you can see that it, the bolt goes right through there. And there we go. Mouse pad is attached. Now we've got a keyboard area, a laptop area, and a mouse pad. Now just for fun, you may or may not need it, but we also included a second mouse pad. And you might be wondering, why would I need a second mouse pad? The reason is that You might want to set your phone or your drink or your glasses on the opposite side. So we'll go ahead and show you how to set that up. It's very similar, in fact identical to setting up the other mouse pad. Rotate it around here for you and show nubs go on the outside. And hook the front first, then push the back in. The bolt goes from inside out in this case. Those are attaching to the outside. And again, you've got two holes to screw into. I prefer to screw into the back hole, so it moves things forward a bit further. And then just screw that in. And you could put this on the lower leg if you prefer to have it lower, but I'm just kind of balancing them in this case. And there's your second mouse pad area. This is the standard mouse pad before we came out with the Max mouse pad. So now let me show you how this looks with a laptop on it. This is a good sized laptop. It's a 16-inch laptop. It weighs about 4 pounds, maybe a little over 4 pounds. Is a keyboard, and here I've got a full-size wired keyboard. You could use wired or wireless, but there's a full-size wired keyboard with numeric keypad, so you can see that it fits there very nicely. And we've got a full-size mouse here, and you can loop it through this hole if you want to organize a little better. So keeps your cords a little more tidy. And plug this in, and so it makes you a real nice area to mouse around on. Gives you plenty of room. And one other feature is, and a nice thing about some stylus holes in there, so you can tuck a stylus or pin there. You can switch back and forth. It doesn't really interfere with your work. Suppose I decided I was tired of standing. Maybe I'm new to standing desk and I'm ready to sit down. So you just disconnect your mouse, move your phone, disconnect the keyboard, set that aside. Put the laptop over here for a moment on my chair, and then push these two sides in at the same time, and the top rotates down. You can store it right underneath your desk. And set up your laptop, and you're ready to sit and work. So it makes it so that you can easily shift between sitting and standing mode. And this is a very lightweight item. Pick it up, maneuver it with one hand, so it's easy to shift to whatever position you like. So also I just wanted to add that you can also use this with smaller laptops if you have. This is a Asus Chromebook Flip. You can just plop it up there. It works just the same. Hook up your keyboard and mouse, and it's just very versatile. You can hold the largest laptop to the smallest. You can also plug a tablet up there. Same scenario. Raises up closer to eye height. Much better ergonomics. So you're typing and looking forward, not looking down. If your laptop is at this height, your head's tilted. They say that when you tilt your head forward, it's like hanging a 60-pound weight on your neck. So that's going to give you a lot of neck pain. So over the long term. So you want it at eye level. So that's what you achieve with the LapWorks Wizard Standing Desk.